So welcome again, or welcome to the third video in this series. The purpose of the videos is to introduce these workshops individually and also to give you the idea that they're very useful to do as a life transforming process if you do them as a series. The effects can go very deep into your life, into the way you live and the way you go about getting the things you want. It's like a reconditioning, a reprogram that you can take time to give yourself a new outlook on life, up your game a bit, whatever. The workshops are creating wealth, relating, and this one that I'm about to introduce is Healing and Hypnosis. As I say, can be done as a series, or they can be done one at a time or individually. It doesn't matter which order you do them in, the work goes deep inside and they all complement each other. So let's get on with explaining healing and hypnosis. In this workshop, we take time to make friends with ourselves. Very often we're trying to push part of ourselves away, but in this workshop we actually make friends with ourselves, make friends with our deeper selves. The effect of this means that it's easier to make changes. If we're fighting ourselves, we're just in a fight. If we make friends with ourselves and a part of us that's creating what we would call a problem, then it becomes easier to reorganize, to find our wisdom. So let's use a metaphor here. We have a conscious mind here, and it wants certain things. When we were young, it wanted to play in the playground, it wanted to do this, it had its needs, and it went about finding its way to get them. And here we have our unconscious mind. The unconscious mind, as a very simplistic metaphor, is like a factory. It does things for us automatically, and it does them very quickly, and once it's learned to do something, it can repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. So the unconscious mind can keep producing a product again and again and again, time after time, the same product, the same way, in the same situation in life. And this is what it does. So we don't have to relearn things. We know how to do them, we know how to do them automatically, so we don't have to think about everything again. It's done for us by what we call the unconscious mind. One of the things is, though, that a lot of these patterns and a lot of these jobs were set up a long time ago, and while most of these patterns of behavior work for us, they work very well. We know how to meet people, we know how to say the right thing to people, we know how to shake hands, or we know how to socially maneuver and things like this. So a lot of these things work for us. But there are some which were created when we were younger, and we have kind of moved on. The ship has moved on, and the behaviors are no longer appropriate. So what the tendency is to fight it. The tendency is to go into therapy and say, I don't want to do that anymore. And there are many patterns that may be left over, vestigial patterns that can be changed. You know, you may be getting backache. This might be an unconscious response, and it may simply be part of your unconscious mind finding ways to slow you down so you can relax. But the language it knows is to give you a backache. It may be that you fall into a pattern of behavior again and again and again, like over-loving somebody, and then you get hurt. Maybe you needed, when you were younger, to really love so that you got loved in return, and this was important for you. Things have moved on though. It may be that you find yourself getting angry in certain situations, and actually what you really want is to simply have some space and time for yourself. And anger was one way of getting that, but things have moved on and it's no longer an appropriate way. So we have these patterns running, and we tend to get into a relationship, not of friendship here. We tend to get into a relationship of demand, complaining, why me, I don't want it anymore. We go into a therapy room and we bang pillows and we shout and I want to get rid of it and I don't want it. And this may work, but it's not really the language of the unconscious so much. What we're learning in this workshop is to make friends with a part of yourself that has worked very, very hard, trying to get that space, trying to get that love, trying to get the relaxation for years, quite likely. And it's been doing this, it's been doing what it thinks is a good job for you. It's been relentlessly doing it, churning out the behavior of trying to get you to have space, trying to get you to be loved, trying to get you to relax, whatever it is. That usually works very hard. And our conscious response is, I don't want that anymore, I don't like it, it's not doing me any good, and other people aren't like that, I don't want it, go away, I've had enough. And this communication style simply doesn't work. This thing, the unconscious, is far more powerful than the conscious mind, and no matter how hard you force it, the unconscious mind will always continue to do what it feels is the right thing for you. However, it may be an outdated feeling for the right thing. So we have to create the language where we give some guidance to the unconscious mind. Shouting, screaming, hating, I've had enough, what are you doing, why, is not the language. The language is, okay, thank you, a language of respect, a language of understanding, a language where we can give new instructions to this very powerful and really benign force. It's only trying to help you. So in this workshop, Healing and Hypnosis, we work very much at the unconscious level. The unconscious has an incredible kind of wisdom, and when we jump into this, when we start to flow with the wisdom and use the language of the unconscious, which is very different from this, then these parts of ourselves can begin to work together with more friendship, with more understanding. So a very large part of this workshop is to create friendship with ourselves. The idea of the unconscious has moved over history through several different concepts. It's an ever-changing thing. In the tribal times, it was the gods or the mountain or the spirits or the beasts in the woods or whatever it was. As time went on, people had more idea, and even God and church and things like this became part of the matrix of the unconscious. Then Freud comes along and says it's like a dustbin of repressed feelings and energy that have to be got out. And there may be some truth in this. But the model that we work with, which was more a hypnosis model, which is that your unconscious is a wise experience. Your unconscious is a place of wisdom and intelligence that just needs to be adjusted and guided. It's a place full of so many things and experiences that you've done. So many times you've fallen down and got back up again. So many times you've made a mistake and done something about it. So many times you've had a good feeling. So all this is useful for you. So we consider that your unconscious wisdom is an incredible resource that can be used to begin, instead of having this, an incredible resource where these two kind of work together. Because we've learned a new language, we've learned a new relationship. And very often in my experience, if we talk about parts in a person, a part that has been running and organizing a problem, maybe a backache or something like this, as I say, but it could be anything. Very often the part that has been running the problem is tired. It's been doing it again and again and again. It requires quite a lot of energy to do it. And the part that's creating the backache at some level would like to have a new job, would like to change as well. They're usually exhausted and ready for a change. So if we in the workshop begin to say, well, how can we stop complaining and fighting, and how could we get it so that actually it could still do a good job helping you, supporting you, and you could work more together, how would this be? And you could relax a bit. This then becomes a much more complementary working relationship. This workshop is great. The power of working with the unconscious mind, it's a powerful way of working. It's subtle. And it's very, in a way, benign, but it's a mystery as well. So in this workshop we kind of dive into the ocean. We create another language. We explore the ocean, the mysteries of it, with the whole purpose that, welcome, my friend, and that I can work with myself rather than fight with myself, which is so often we kind of get ourselves into this. Oh, I've been eating too many cream cakes, I hate it, why do I do it, I'm terrible, you know. Rather than, okay, let's find out how we can reorganize that. Let's find out how this part of me can help me do something different. So this is the workshop. It's truly a very valuable, enjoyable and benign experience. So I invite you to come, invite you to use it with the other workshops as well. These three work very well together. So come to the workshop. Bring yourself, bring your unconscious. The workshop is open, you can come with a problem and work specifically with that, or you can just come on a more generalized thing to find out how you can be more whole as a person and how your actions can be more whole, because this is the result of what we do. So I look forward to seeing you.